The hills of eastern Washington keeps resurfacing a bottomless pit said to be a pathway to the paranormal.
What if a camera was lowered into a hole so deep, so silent, and so strange that it defied the laws of nature? What if what it captured terrified the entire world, and what came out of it was even worse? This isn't a movie plot. This is the story of Mel's Hole, a mysterious bottomless pit said to exist somewhere in the desolate hills of Washington state. A hole so bizarre that even the US government allegedly sealed off the area, erased maps, and silenced witnesses. For decades, the legend of Mel's Hole has haunted paranormal researchers, skeptics, and truth seekers alike. And when one man decided to drop a camera into its endless blackness, what he found was something that should never have been seen. Stay with us, because what's inside Mel's Hole may just change what you believe about our world. Our story begins in 1997 on a radio show called Coast to Coast AM, hosted by Art Bell, a program famous for UFOs, conspiracies, and late-night mysteries. One night, a man called in claiming to be a resident of Ellensburg, Washington. He introduced himself simply as Mel Waters. He said he owned a piece of rural property near Manistash Ridge where he had found something extraordinary, a deep, perfectly round hole that seemed to have no bottom. According to Mel, locals had known about the hole for decades. People dumped trash in it, old refrigerators, car parts, even dead livestock, but no one ever heard anything hit the bottom. Mel decided to investigate. He tied a fishing line to a weight and began lowering it down. He expected to hit bottom after a few hundred feet, but when he reached 80,000 feet, more than 15 miles deep, he ran out of line. That's when he realized this wasn't just a pit. It was something else entirely. Mel's description of the hole was disturbing. He said its rim was lined with smooth stone, as if cut by precision tools. The inner walls were pitch black and emitted no echo. If you yelled or dropped a rock, the sound was swallowed instantly. He noticed that animals avoided it. His dogs would bark, howl, and refuse to come near it. Birds never flew overhead. Even his compass malfunctioned when he stood close. Most terrifying of all, Mel claimed the hole radiated something. A strange hum, a magnetic pull, and what he called a feeling of being watched. He began to suspect that this wasn't a natural sinkhole, but something artificial or ancient. Some locals even whispered that it was a portal to another dimension. Soon, strange men in dark suits began appearing near his property. Unmarked helicopters circled the ridge. Then, one day, Mel claimed that the government seized his land, citing a crash site investigation. They fenced off the area, removed it from public records, and offered him a mysterious deal to leave the country. That's when the legend of Mel's Hole went from strange to sinister. Mel Waters' calls to Coast AM became legendary. Each time he appeared, he revealed new chilling details. He said that before the government takeover, his neighbors had seen a dead dog tossed into the hole, only for it to appear alive again days later, roaming the countryside. Other witnesses described black beams of light emerging from the hole at night, light that seemed to bend the air around it. During one call, Mel claimed he had discovered a metal collar embedded in the rock around the rim, one that was warm to the touch, impossible to cut, and emitted a strange vibration. Listeners were divided. Some thought Mel was a hoaxer. Others believed he had stumbled onto something forbidden, perhaps a secret military facility or a natural anomaly that scientists couldn't explain. But the scariest claim came later, when Mel said he dropped a camera into the hole. Mel wanted proof. He attached a camera to a long cable and slowly lowered it into the darkness. At first, it showed nothing but black, a void so total that even infrared couldn't penetrate it. But as it descended, strange things began to happen. The cable trembled as if something below was tugging on it. Then came the sounds. A faint mechanical whine, a rhythmic thumping, and, most disturbingly, what sounded like voices. Muffled screams, whispers in no known language. When the camera finally reached the limit of the line, Mel pulled it back up. The casing was scorched, the lens cracked, and the battery completely drained. Yet, for a brief second of footage, barely visible, was something that sent chills through anyone who saw it. A dim red glow, moving shadows, and a shape, humanoid but distorted, staring up toward the camera from the darkness below. Mel never released the full footage publicly. He said he feared what might happen if he did. Not long after, Mel disappeared from public contact. When Art Bell tried to reach him again, he was gone. Months later, Bell received a letter from Mel claiming he'd been detained by government agents, interrogated, and forced to sign documents preventing him from discussing the hole. He said they had offered him a settlement in exchange for his silence, then exiled him overseas. When he returned years later, his property was no longer his. The area was sealed off by the military. Locals said new roads had appeared, leading nowhere, with no trespassing signs posted by a company no one had heard of before. Satellite images of the area reportedly showed anomalous heat signatures, as if something underground was generating energy. Then, those satellite images were quietly scrubbed from online databases. To this day, no official record of Mel Waters or his property has ever been verified. But dozens of witnesses from Ellensburg insist they saw the hole and even dumped trash into it. So what was it? A secret military testing site? An ancient geological formation? Or something beyond human understanding? Over the years, explorers, journalists, and paranormal investigators have tried to locate Mel's hole. Some point to the Manastash Ridge region, others to nearby Yakima Indian Reservation, which is said to contain spiritual no-go zones where strange lights and creatures are often reported. A team of researchers once tried to retrace Mel's directions using topographical data, but discovered that several of the coordinates he mentioned had been digitally altered in online mapping systems. Entire valleys appeared blurred out. One expedition in 2008 claimed to have found a similar pit, an 8-foot-wide shaft that emitted electromagnetic interference. When they lowered instruments inside, they lost signal at only 1,500 feet. Moments later, their cameras failed, and one crew member described hearing a deep mechanical breathing sound from below. Since then, several expeditions have vanished or returned shaken, refusing to discuss what they encountered. Geologists have speculated that bottomless holes like Mel's could be collapsed lava tubes or ancient boreholes. But none can explain the perfect symmetry, lack of echo, and electromagnetic anomalies described. Some fringe researchers suggest something far darker, that Mel's hole is a gateway, an ancient structure built to connect this world with something beneath it, an entrance to what old legends call the Hollow Earth, or perhaps even a place where the barrier between life and death grows thin. Long before Mel Waters' story, native tribes in the region spoke of a forbidden pit called the Spirit Hole. According to Yakima oral tradition, it was a place where beings of shadow traveled between worlds. Elders warned that to look into the hole too long was to invite madness, and to throw something in was to disturb the balance between realms. Sound familiar? Researchers believe Mel's hole may be connected to these ancient legends. Some say the hole lies on a ley line, an invisible energy path connecting sacred sites across the globe, from Stonehenge to the Great Pyramid of Giza. If that's true, then Mel's hole might not just be deep. It might be connected to something ancient and intelligent. Could that explain the strange hum, the electromagnetic fields, the voices, and the reappearing animals? Or is it all part of a carefully designed experiment, one the government doesn't want us to understand? Let's return to that camera. What exactly did it capture? According to a supposed witness, an assistant who helped Mel run the experiment, the footage, when enhanced, showed something horrifying. A slow, rotating mass of red mist, like a glowing vortex. And at its center, shapes that seemed alive, moving, writhing, almost reaching upward. He said the temperature near the hole spiked to 130 degrees Fahrenheit during the descent, even though it was freezing outside. The moment the camera hit a certain depth, all nearby electronics shorted out. When they tried to analyze the recording, several frames appeared to show what looked like faces. Not human, but distorted, almost skeletal. Then the tape degraded into static. Within days, the assistant was gone. And the footage vanished. The only surviving still image, allegedly leaked online years later, shows a faint red glow deep below the rim. Skeptics call it fake. Believers call it proof. Whatever it is, it's the only glimpse humanity has ever had into the abyss that is Mel's hole. So, what is Mel's hole? Theory number 1. A military experiment gone wrong. Some say it's part of a classified government project, perhaps an abandoned nuclear shaft or underground test site. The radiation and magnetism could explain the interference in the government's rapid response. Theory number 2. A natural anomaly. Others think it's a rare geological feature, a collapsed magma chamber or deep volcanic vent. But no known natural formation goes down 15 miles without hitting magma or rock pressure. Theory number 3. A dimensional gateway. Then there are those who believe Mel's hole is a literal portal, an ancient structure, maybe even extraterrestrial. The strange sounds, animal behavior, and red light could suggest a thinning of reality itself. Theory number 4. A hoax. Of course, skeptics argue that Mel Waters never existed, that his name was a pseudonym, and that his story was crafted for radio entertainment. But if that's true, why have researchers who've gone looking for the site reported unmarked security patrols, sealed roads, and military interference? And why would the coordinates mentioned in the original broadcasts lead to restricted zones? Today, the legend of Mel's hole remains one of the most chilling mysteries in modern folklore. It's inspired documentaries, podcasts, and countless theories on Reddit and YouTube. What makes it so terrifying isn't just the idea of a bottomless pit. It's the sense that something out there defies explanation, something that watches us from beneath the earth. People still travel to Ellensburg hoping to find clues. Some claim to feel vibrations in the ground. Others say they hear faint voices at night carried on the wind. A few even believe the government continues to study whatever lies below in secret underground facilities. Whatever Mel's hole truly is, a hoax, a hidden experiment, or a gateway to another world, it forces us to confront one terrifying question. What if the earth beneath our feet isn't solid at all? What if it's alive and aware? If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the strangest unsolved mysteries in America, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share your theories in the comments. Do you think Mel's hole is real? Was it a military cover-up or something much darker, something the world was never meant to see? Because somewhere out there, in the cold hills of Washington, there may still be a hole that never ends.